I hope you're all well out there. It is March. February slipped by, which I'm really glad because it's really too cold for me in February. So I'm really enjoying the warm weather coming. We have strange weather in the winter. Actually, we have strange weather in New Mexico. So what happens here normally, in the winter in particular, is it changes rapidly. So we'll get bursts of really cold weather and then it'll warm up. But this past winter, it did not warm up. It, stuff melted off, but it never really had any nice warm days. So, for example, third week, the third week in February, we had this day where it was not too bad in the morning. It was around 40 degrees. And then the wind started howling at about 50 miles per hour, and it just blew like that all day long until around 4 in the afternoon. And then it started raining really hard, and then it sleeted, and then it snowed, and we got about 2 inches of snow here at my house. A little bit over 2 inches, I think, at the airport. And then it froze, and so then we had like black ice on the roads everywhere. And then the next day, it just melted off, which happens here pretty often. But it never got really warm enough for me to work much outside, which is what I was counting on, because I hadn't finished my red cement wall. I had a corner left, and so every day this winter I looked out there and it just mocked me. It said, "You didn't finish me." So the last couple of days of February, it warmed up enough. I was able to get out there and finish that. So that made me really happy this month. I got that finished finally. I can look out there and go, "Oh, that's done." And then I also got started on the first coat of paint on the trim out in the front of the house, which I'm really glad I was able to get that started. I have all of the back done, and the kiddos' courtyard side I have the first coat on, and then the secret garden side I don't have the first coat on yet. So hopefully I'll be getting that done in March, and also getting the second coat on all the fronts and the side. I try to get that done in kind of the warmer days of the cold part of the year, because it gets too hot to be out there on a ladder. The sun really beats on you. It gets a little too hot this summer. So I want to get those things finished before it gets too hot. I don't mind, digging in the dirt and working out in the yard, but when you're up against a fence painting, it's pretty tough. So I'm looking forward to finishing that, and I'm sure the neighbors are happy too, because I've been working on that for a couple of years, the trim part in the front anyway. And then it was warm enough. I also moved some plants around. I moved some bushes that I had in the front. They're really tiny. They're boxwood, and they are dwarf, and they're very slow growers, and I really realized that's where I wanted to put my beds for some more vegetable gardening. So I put those over on the wall of the house. So, and then I also took out my yellow rose, which made me really sad, but I'm trying to save it. I moved it to a big pot in the front, and so far so good. It hasn't gone into shock, so hopefully it'll be all right. But it was slammed against the front wall so much that it was actually kind of pushing into the wall of the house, so I had to take that out. And that's also where I'm going to be putting my fence around that front, where I'm going to call the desert cottage garden. That's what I'm working on. Then I was also able to prune all the roses and the lavender and the Russian sage, and also the desert willows. Really hate doing that. It's just the most nerve-wracking thing I do when I'm gardening, is pruning things. It makes me so nervous. And of course, some of these are first-year plantings, so we'll see how they respond this spring. And I've got some climbing roses that I'm going to put in, but right now I'm hardening them off. I'm very excited. I hope they really take, because I have the dirt filled in the back beds where I was going to put those climbing roses last year, but I didn't get to because I just didn't get enough dirt in there. But this year I was able to get the dirt in, so I'm looking forward to that. That's what's going on in the Art Studio Gardens. soon, I hope in March, it's warming up, that I'll be able to take you on a tour and you'll get to see what's going on. Of course, you know, everything's pretty dormant right now, but you know, just little bits of progress, anything major. I also got into apple trees. We'll see if they're gonna take. One of them looks like it's starting to bud out a little bit, so it should be okay. The other one I'm not sure about. We'll see. So that's mostly what I've accomplished outside. I'm trying to think. I'm still working on the strawberry bed. And the starters that I have in the house are doing really well. And I'm going to start the seed for tomatoes soon. And then in a few weeks, I will direct sow some things that are safe to direct sow in the cold. So like sweet peas and maybe sunflowers. We'll see. I've collected quite a few seeds this year because I wanted to do flower seed instead of purchasing the plants. I don't want to try to save money that way. And then that's about it in the garden. So that was my Snickers making funny noise over there. He's making himself a bed on the other couch. So in the studio, we finished a couple, I always say we, as if there's more than one of me. Anyway, I finished a couple of paintings. I finished the bunny moon painting, and then I finished this painting, which I haven't named yet. I think it's going to have something to do with glitter. Not sure. And then I finished this painting. Oh, upside down. Let's go upright. Here we go. There we go. I named that Peachy Bosky. And then we also finished this painting. I'm sure you remember that video that we just did. And that one's done. So this one that's Peachy Bosky, I'm going to do a series of these. I did this one from a picture that I took in Bosque del Apache. I had to think about the name of it. It's a wildlife preserve here in New Mexico. It's in between Los Lunas, New Mexico, and Socorro, New Mexico. It's pretty much, you know, kind of remote, but it's really beautiful. And amazing birds come in there. It's a resting place for the birds that are migrating. And so, like, one time of the year, it's just covered with cranes. It's amazing. I haven't made it down for the festival. They have a festival there every year. Maybe this year I can get there. It's a few hours away, so it's a little tricky for me to get away. But maybe this year I'll get to it. Anyway, I took that photo there, I think, a couple of years ago in the winter. And it was a beautiful day. Everything was just mirrored on the water everywhere. It was amazing. And this one, the painting I just did, is a little peachier than the photograph I took. So I still love the painting. I think I like the painting. So I'm just going to do a series. I'm going to do another one that's pink. It has a little more of the pink that it had. And then a few other photos I've taken down there. I'm going to do some more paintings of. So that's what's next in the studio. Also, I still have the painting that I'm doing with sign, and I still haven't got that green paint yet. I need to go pick that up so I can continue on that. And then the other painting that we were doing in the series of videos is the one with the trees that are wound together, so we'll still be working on those. And then in the Stacys Art Studio kitchen, we didn't do any videos this in February. It just kind of got away from me this year. The February, my husband got sick. He got the flu. Thankfully, the kiddo and I didn't get it, but he did. So between that and taking care of the kiddo, I just kind of things got away from me. So in March, I have a goal of doing a video in the kitchen for lip balm, how I make the lip balm, and then maybe, if I have time, the hand wash stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And then, oh, one other thing in the garden I was going to show you. So I got about half of my bottles buried for my watering system. So a couple of pointers, if it helps you. And again, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I'm hopeful. So far, it's doing pretty well. I tried to poke holes in it, and that was kind of dangerous. So what I ended up doing is just squeezing it flat like that, and then cut it with scissors on the side, and that was a lot safer. So I thought maybe that would help you. And then I went and buried a few, and I was really happy with it. It's really easy to fill it up And I haven't had to use it much because we've had so much water, so I haven't had to do it. I just did it to experiment. But I got to thinking about how this hole is just perfect for lizards to run into to hide from Molly. And then they'd never get back out. So it would just be a lizard killer trap. And I don't want to do that. I love my lizards. So I was like thinking of a solution. I didn't want to give up, but I don't want lizards dying in there. So I came up with this. So I ended up taking some screen from an old project and just cut a square of it and put it over the top like that, and grab a rubber band and then wrap it around twice, which is good and tight, but you know, you might need to do 3 times, just depends on your rubber band is how it is. And then you've got it covered like that. Lizards can't get in, and the water still does get in. I've experimented on that, and you can still fill it with a hose pretty easily, and the rain still collects in there. So I got that solved, so I'm very excited about that. And I've focused on putting them around the trees. So I'm about halfway there with that. So I'm excited about that. That's good. Let's see, what else? Moving the studio around. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. If you'll notice, the couch is in a different location. I'm working on moving the studio because I needed the functionality a little bit better. You know, I try to balance between, I want it to be pretty and comfortable to work in, but at the same time it needs to be functional, and there's just some things that aren't quite functional for me. So I'm building more shelves on that back wall over there that are going to be holding cups of paintbrushes and pencils and things like that, and then some straight up and down that I can slide canvases into to store. You know, at the moment I store things up high, but I need my husband to go up there because I can't get up on that quite high ladder. I can go to 8 feet, and that's about as far as I make it. So I was trying to find a little better storage system for me, so I'm going to use that wall, finish that wall. I had built the shelf unit like I did because I had wanted to put one of those wall fireplaces on the wall, but really I need the functionality more than I need the fake fireplace. So, and then I'm going to be moving in some more storage on the side where I have the chaos wall, because I need more workspace, and I also need a little more storage for paints and things like that. So that's why things have moved around. I love the couch here though. This is really perfect because this area is not a great place for working or storing or anything because it's a walk-through space. So it works perfectly right there. So anyhow, I'm really happy with that. And then I also made a bed for Molly, which is right down here on the floor underneath my feet. And she's really happy. She likes that. So thank you for stopping in. We look forward to see what March brings us, and I will soon be bringing you outside when it warms up, and I'll be seeing you in my next videos. Have a great day, guys.